Hello friend, in this video I go to show how to become a DevOps or SRE engineer in 2025. Before I start show the skills you need, let me give you some tips for you. First thing, you don't need to know everything. You don't need to have all the answers and anybody know everything. The second ones, you go to make mistakes. Learning with your mistakes and keep it going. Don't stop. You don't give up. You can do that. And the last one, every time you go to learning something, create a project in the GitHub and share what you're learning and put it there. Any project you start doing and try to do something you go to use in production. Example, if you go to start learning Linux, start putting like the commands you start learning, some chips you can put there. Or if you wanna like create a VM, like put it the steps and start create some projects there. So when you go to have an interview, you can show what you work, what you learning, what's the way you create a project so the people can see you have some skills. So after that, let's go to the skills. And I have the page for Ubuntu in here, and Ubuntu is the version I use right now, but I start using with SUSE, and after that I use Red Hat, and I use CentOS, and I use Fedora, but that's not a server. But just let you know, you find the flavor for Linux you wanted to learn it or be comfortable. For me, you can start with Ubuntu because it's the easy one, and they have packages, they have a lot of documentation every place in the internet. So any problems you have, somebody have the problem before. So Ubuntu is good because you have like this community help you to learn that. I just want to show my profile in Git. That's my GitHub. I have all my information here, and I have some repositories that working before, and all the things that I learning, I start putting the Git. Not everything I have in here, but a good part for some project is in here. And if you click in here, I have my YouTube channel with all my projects I've been doing here. Example, if somebody asks me how you use the horizontal pod scaling, I have a video, I have some examples, and that's make it easy, you know. If you need to show somebody something you did before, so make it easy for you. Next one, network. You need to know network, DNS. Minimal, you need to know IPs, mask, DNS, server, how they work, the gateway, these type things. But the network, you don't need to be a pro. Let the pro do the network thing because it's a deep subject network, but you need to know the basic. So if you need to troubleshoot something, you know what you're doing. So the next one for DevOps and SRE, something you go to do a lot of time, you use CI/CD pipelines. So you need to know how the CI/CD pipelines work, create some CI/CD pipelines in the GitLab or in the GitHub Actions. So you have a lot of documents there, easy way to learning and free. So try to use it, try to understand, but don't forget you is just start and start learning the basic. Okay. So the next one, you need to know cloud computing. But when you talk about cloud computing, you need to know Linux. Almost all the resources you're going to have in the cloud run in Linux. So the first thing, you need to have the Linux, and the Linux go to help you to create CI/CD, work in the cloud. So all the clouds, they have like the free time, and you can start for free so you can learn it. That's cloud. So they have AWS, Google Cloud, and Azure. I work with the AWS, but I don't have a lot of experience that. My experience is more in Azure and now in Google Cloud. But most the big company use AWS, and more the opportunity I see in the internet, they use AWS. So if I start today, I go to work with AWS. You'll be the first cloud provider I go to start. But don't think like you need to be a professional in AWS, Azure, in Google Cloud. Just go to learn one, and another one you go to know how to use because they have a lot of products the same, but they have changed the names, but it will be the same conception for one cloud for another cloud. So if you know one, the other ones don't be so hard to learn. So the next one is Terraform. Terraform is infrastructure has code, AIS. So you create code and that's going to create the infrastructure in the cloud. Example, you need to create a VM in AWS. So you just create your code in Terraform and apply, and this code go to create infrastructure in the cloud for you. These VMs you go to work, you go to create through Terraform. So the example, like every dev have a code for the application. The DevOps and SRE, they have the Terraform code to create the infrastructures for them too. It's not something complex. You don't need to be a dev to work with Terraform, but you just need to learn like variables. Something is a simple language to use. Last year, Terraform changed the way they use the license, and the community create the open tofu. And open tofu is like Terraform, but that's an open source project. You can check this in this website, but Terraform is the main ones you need to learn. Open tofu will be easy, but I never use open tofu in any jobs I work. Learn Terraform, but no, open tofu is there for open source. Ansible is another tool for infrastructure, has a code, and that's the way you configure install packages in your virtual machines when you have that in the cloud. So Terraform and Ansible work together the way you can create a virtual machine in the cloud and install Nginx. But think about you need to create 100 VMs in the cloud. So you can create with Terraform the VM, install and configure the Nginx with Ansible. The next one is containers. In containers, you need to know Docker. So for learning container, use a Docker, but before you do anything that you need to learn in Linux. Because if you need to install a package in the container, so you wanna make some updates, change some configurations, so you need to know Linux. So before you learn Docker in containers, let's learn in Linux. So that will make it so easy for you. Learning containers after you know Linux. The next one is my favorite, Kubernetes. Kubernetes is the orchestration for containers. That's something you learn after you know Docker. So you learn in Linux, Docker, and after that you go to Kubernetes. Don't change the steps, because if you try to learn Kubernetes and you don't know Docker in Linux, you're going to have a hard time to do that. And the last one, you need to monitor your infrastructure. And for your monitoring infrastructure, you have a lot of applications you can use. You can use ZARB, New React, and Grafana and Prometheus. So the next one is Grafana. It's an application you can create a dashboard with all information for your infrastructure. That information is metrics coming for Prometheus. So you have Prometheus, and Prometheus is the way like for you monitor your application, create some rules. So Prometheus send metrics to Grafana and you create some dashboards there. And for receive alerts, you can use the alert manager, have your configuration. So you can send the alerts for email, you can send alerts for Slack, your Teams, for any webhook you have, you can send an alert. And you have the exporters, all the exporters, you have database exporters, you have the Nginx, you have a lot of exporter, and you can create your exporter for your application. So you can create nice dashboards in Grafana. So that's the basic skills you need to have to become a SRE or a DevOps engineer in 2025. If you like this content, please like and subscribe my channel, share with a friend they starting this career, and I see you in the next video.